welcome back to Snooz with Sooz. And I just want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Woo, 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 woo. What a fun week it's been. I hope you got to enjoy your Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo. And now it's Cinco de Mayo plus 3 days. Welcome to May 8th. And Snooz with Sooz. Now, if this is your first time coming, that's a-okay. It's only our second, but this is what we're doing, so you know what in the world is going on. We at Big Bear Connected are taking every Friday afternoon at 1 p.m., and we are honoring one of our very own Big Bear authors. That's right, we are. Now, this week, we have a wonderful lady coming on, and I hope that you appreciate. I've kind of set up the scene here. I've got my Southwest decor for Cinco de Mayo, although it doesn't have anything to do with it, just bear with me. But then, look, I couldn't find anything other than my little daughter, Amber Suzanne's Barbie doll jet. Woo! Now, has a lot to do with Syd Blue. Now, before we get started, Syd, I have a question for you. Did you grow up in Big Bear? Are you a Big Bearian? Or did you move up here? When and why?
Well, I feel like a Big Bearian because I moved here about 18 years ago, so my heart is here and it's my home.
Okay then. Well, I want to first start off, since I'm talking about the airplane, with our word of the week. Our word is aeronautics. Now, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, that is the science of traveling through space. Yes, sir, Bob. And I have a feeling that Miss Blue, you know a little bit about that, don't you?
I do. I had my first flight lesson on my 14th birthday, and then I became a commercial pilot.
Wow, that is really neat. Now, are you still involved with all of that kind of stuff?
No, I'm taking a break to convert my book FlyGirl to a movie. And
a movie? A movie? Oh, do you need any ladies with purple hair by any chance?
I do. I have a part for you.
I did not mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry. You just go on.
Well, before the pandemic, I was working with a producer at 1.2 billion at the box office. And if you want to hear about the whole movie development process, I just got interviewed by an international airline pilot, and that blog is on my website. I don't know if you can see sydblue.com, but just look for the blog by the international airline pilot. And you can hear all about the whole movie process. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, now that's sydblue.com. All righty, now before we get started, I'm just curious, what inspired you to go into your mind and create this lovely book?
Well, it's partially created from a true story. You might recognize it when you read it, especially living in Big Bear. It's set in Big Bear, and it's about a 16-year-old who learns to fly an airplane the hard way, and in the process becomes captain of her life.
Wow, whoa, that sounds exciting. I think we need to just go on and get started here now. Now, everybody, I know that you're kind of exhausted on a Friday afternoon, zooming all week, doing home studies for your kiddos, trying to remember that next Zoom meeting. This is what I want you to do. I just want you to lay back, take off your feet, and wait, did I just say take off your feet? No, that would be really uncomfortable. Don't do that. No. I just want you to take off your shoes, lay back, let open your mind, let it just explore, and let's listen to Miss Syd Blue read about FlyGirl. Take it away, Miss Blue.
Well, thank you. This is read in middle school, so it's from 6th to 8th grade is the target, but I've had readers write me who are 9 years old to 19, so it just depends on your reading level. And so the first version's out at Amazon, but I'm going to read to you a sneak peek that's not out yet, because when I was developing the movie with the producer, there was some new parts of the story I really enjoyed. And it also gave me the opportunity to do something fun where I shift perspective. So I'm going from third person in this book, and the new version's first person. Sort of like, there's a new version of Twilight coming out that's from Edward's perspective. So what I'm doing is going into Jill's head more in first person. So we're about to go for an airplane ride. This is in the beginning, right before Jill's ever been up in an airplane and hasn't seen the world from the sky, which is an amazing view. So here we go. Let me start my timer. Okay, prologue, the summer after my sophomore year. First of all, you've got to understand it wasn't a stupid girl move. I paused to look directly at my phone as it records me. 2,000 pilots have caused an accident due to fuel mistakes. That means they didn't switch tanks or tried to make it to an airport just beyond their fuel burn, or just forgot there's no idiot light in a plane to remind you to get gas now. So maybe you can accept what I'm about to tell you. I lean back on the lounger in my backyard, the glum pine tree shading me. It's really your fault anyway. I just wanted what you don't have, a future. I toss a pine cone at the stone wall to watch it explode into slicing spiky scales. But first, let me back up. I stabbed the screen to end the clip. Enough for today. Saving the video as Jill Townsend, season 2, episode 16, I grab the black beanie off my head and look at my reflection in the sliding glass door. Because I'm petite for 16, I like to balance my too sweet face with a swath of blue hair and retro grunge. Flannel and beanies are practical in the cold mountains of California anyway. The girl staring back at me is someone I never would have imagined a year ago. I move my crutches so I can elevate my throbbing ankle, which sets off my ribs into a chorus of screaming pain. How did everything get so messed up? A roar above dares me to look up. The flashy red biplane flies barely over the treetops, buzzing toward the town airport in the center of the valley. The memory floods me how it all started. At the air show one fateful day. Just getting my sisters there was no small feat, promising them sweets for walking a mile. Their sugar screams and ransacking would be worth it to see the masters who tamed the winds. It was the day I fell in love with the sky, with infinite freedom, or so I thought. Part 1, the winter of my sophomore year. Chapter 1, lift versus gravity. I had held my sister's squirming hands as we approached the main gate to the town airport. Being 4, we didn't fight the hand-holding, but Kelly did. She was 6, which she thought was old enough to run around a public gathering of thousands of people all by herself. I squeezed her hand tighter, telling her there was no way I was letting her go. Oh no, I groaned. The line is forever. We were already late since Kelly acted like breakfast was torture, biting every mouthful. I don't want to stand here, Kelly complained as we joined the long line at the entrance waiting to pay. She kicked my shin to emphasize her feelings. I blocked my leg. I know you're an Amazon in training and all, but look at that! I pointed to a plane buzzing over our heads to distract her. Uppy? Bree held her arms above her head, trying to get me to pick her up. I handed her a sock monkey instead. My aching back needed a break. At the small side gate near the airport lobby, Nika waved. Relief. I steered my sisters to my best friend as she opened the entrance. In her signature bohemian tinkling skirt, she jumped to the side to shuffle us in quickly so no one would see. Nika wasn't done hugging me hello when Kelly grabbed her hand to tug her toward the action. She was probably eager to leave me in the dust after our morning battle. Tons of people on the tarmac walked down the rows and rows of pop-up tents and booths. Further away from the lobby building were all kinds of parked airplanes on the flight line. Beyond that was a runway with airplanes rumbling to take off. It was a cold day, even though we weren't having much of a winter. Up at 7,000 feet, this mountain town was always 20 degrees cooler than the foothills below, but it was still Southern California. Some winters it snowed a lot, and some winters it barely flaked at all. Yay, you finally made it, Nika said as she forged through the crowd to her booth, a shade canopy with signs like, Save the whales from bellies full of plastic. Her painted cloth shopping bags were stacked high. Each one had a different design. Her eco art sold pretty well at these kinds of events. I admired one of her Picasso-like squiggles. Nika Wu had mad skills as a painter. How's it going, I asked. Did you convert any evil plastic bag users? Sold a dozen so far. Nika held up a decorated bag, rich in plum and lavender colors. Some kind of drum and motion that actually made you see rhythm. It featured her favorite saying, dance to the beat of your own drum. Planet saved, disaster averted, I joke. Nika played along, flipping her dark wavy hair over her shoulders. I'm a saint, Saint Nika Wu. She danced around a broken plastic sled on display showing forest litter, Her shoulders ticked to the beat of the music, pumping out the large speakers up for the air show. I'll sell more now that you're here to keep me company so I don't get bored. Selling is the worst part of business, though. I laughed. The selling part is what makes it a business. Kelly punted a plastic bottle away from the display about waist. I picked it up and returned it to its place. Sorry it took so long. Dr. Jekyll didn't want us to come. I had to rake the dangerous pine needles from the yard before she'd let me. Exposing my palms, I showed her my blisters. Only 2.5 more years. You can make it. Can I? I could tell her I cried so much last night. I woke this morning dehydrated. I couldn't even lick my lips, but I didn't want to rain on her air parade. She needed to sell her entire stock today. A jet flew by so loudly my teeth seriously rattled. I ducked. Whoa, that echoed in my ribs, almost as cool as the Millennium Falcon. I knew you'd like it here. Nika's shoulder kept the beat to the music. I think I saw a real X-wing or something. Just as Bree was about to run out of the booth after a dog, Nika scooped her up into her arms and swayed to the music. The tiny bells of her long skirt tinkled in time. You set the bar too high. I wish I had your moves, I said as Nika danced so fluidly, unfeathered by self-judgment that she reminded me of a goddess, Gwen Yin or somebody. No, you don't. It's hard to make money as a dancer, even harder as an artist. The two things I want are the path to poor. At least you know what you want. I don't like anything but Star Wars. Figures the only place I belong is fictional, in a galaxy far, far away. Whoosh! Above us, a stubby-winged plane flew fast, upside down, low to the ground. Its thunder shook the booth. It rocketed up higher and higher than the mountain ridges to the north. The airport was the one place you could see the wide open sky. They had cleared all the trees when they built it back in 1928. The human-made lake was in the center of Big Bear Valley, and to the east of that was this open patch of sunshine. The plane came back around, rolling wildly over the runway, pounding a thrill through my chest. That's so cool! Suddenly a gust blew a sign off the booth. I chased it, taming it back to the corner beam. Rami Magner caught my attention in the booth across the aisle, his hand swooping as he talked to his buddy Trevor. Rami oozed such live-in-the-moment ease, a kind confidence, but I always found myself watching him whenever I got the chance. Both guys stood tall in camouflage utility uniforms, pockets everywhere. Trevor's cap had an extra item, a GoPro. He didn't go anywhere without it. As he pointed the camera at Rami, I didn't blame him for wanting to capture him on screen. Rami was delicious candy for the eyes, even with his thick brush-up hidden beneath his hat. Go talk to him, Nika urged. You're dreaming. You gotta get that guy before he graduates. Time's up, Buttercup. Go! Nika gently pushed my shoulder in his direction as Bree squirmed down from her arms and into mine. Yeah, right. Rami was a senior. Even if seniors socialized with sophomores, it wouldn't be me. Most people left me alone since I started wearing lots of black after Doomsday almost a year ago. No one knew how to handle family tragedies, which was fine with me. It wasn't that it was awkward to hang out with normal people. It just hurt. I was strangely where my life had derailed, never to get back on track, yet somehow I still had to show up at school every morning pretending life goes on. I kept it together for my sisters, who have seemed to accept that people disappear from their lives. When Trevor retreated to the back of their stall, Rami was left standing at the front alone regarding the sky. Might as well go for it. I had nothing to lose. I stole a kiss from Bree's sweet forehead before handing her back to Nika, babying her like she needed. Since the night our family was reduced in size, Bree had returned to clutching hips despite how hard it was to hold a 30-pound 4-year-old. But what else was I supposed to do? I whispered to Nika, will you watch the young barbarians for a minute? Sure, if you sign this petition. I didn't read the paper on the clipboard. I signed it, set it down, and left the booth, ignoring how thirsty I was suddenly. Would I be able to talk with a totally dry mouth? Chapter 2, Thrust versus Drag. Before I reached Rami, I paused. He didn't notice since his face was tilted up to the sky. I dug down deep for courage, one foot in front of the other. I nearly knocked into him with my momentum. When he looked at me, I melted but managed to speak. Hey, Rami. Hey, he responded. Jill, right? I smiled while I thought about what to say next. The sign behind him read, CAP, the Civil Air Patrol Auxiliary of the Air Force. What's CAP all about? You patrol air? Only air that's polite, nice civil air. He stopped joking long enough to hand me a sticker. It's like a teen Air Force. Actually, we do a lot of search and rescue missions, saving lost hikers. So 9 out of 10 times we're patrolling for wilderness rookies who don't prepare and then are shocked to find out every tree looks the same. Trevor came up behind him with his GoPro flashing a red light. He had a lot of style with piercings in his nose and mouth and fringe bangs angling down his forehead under his cap. Looks good on the Academy application if you're gunning for fighters. He motioned around me like he was going for that as he returned to filming the air show. You want to be a fighter pilot? I asked. In the Air Force? As in the military? That's crazy. What's crazy about it? Rami frowned. I meant intense. Anything to fly, Rami smiled. Rami's smile was so genuine it made me reflex into a grin myself. Whatever it takes. Have you been up? No, never. They're giving free flights at Young Eagles. He pointed to a clump of kids at the end of the row. Zoom, my pink plane buzzed by, swept up vertical, then flipped end over end. The boys' heads swiveled to watch. As a voice on the loudspeaker announced the action, the grace and spirit of Vicky Benzine. Epic, Trevor said with reverence. An extra 300S. Any woman who can fly is hot, Rami said. I literally felt a lightning bolt strike inside me. I swear, hot? A woman who could fly? I looked at the pink plane doing loops in the sky. It was pretty cool. Women who could handle high-powered machinery like a boss, I'm down with that. But I wasn't much of anything. I knew how to use a microwave. Boring. Where'd you say those free flights are? I'll show you. Rami left the booth and headed down the aisle. Before bolting after him, I glanced at Nika entertaining my sisters. Saint Nika, bless her. I followed Rami to the Young Eagles booth where he stood with me in line. I'm sure I wasn't very good at hiding how excited this made me, the proximity of his chunky muscled arm nearly touching mine. I looked at the booth to calm myself. A Young Eagles free flight sign hung in the back, as well as posters that showed kids in planes with pilots. You've never really been in a plane? Rami asked with a glimmer of curiosity in his eyes. No, wait, so I'm just going to take a ride with a stranger in the sky? I laughed, amused that people were actually doing this. It seemed kind of weird to fly off with someone I didn't know. These pilots have been doing it for years. They volunteer, pay for everything. 2 million flights so far. Just steer clear of that one. He pointed to a woman at an old, beat-up little plane with one propeller on the front. In a plain t-shirt and jeans, she stuck a foot on a diagonal pole that went from the belly of the plane to the high wing. She launched herself up it like a ladder and cranked open the gas cap on top. She dipped a ruler inside the wing tank. Scowling under a ball cap, she measured how high the fluid reached. When the wind blew off her hat, her short, dark, spiky hair fanned in all directions. Rami was watching her too. She used to be an international airline pilot, but she moved back here. What happened? I liked her barbed hair and no-nonsense attire. No one knows. At least she's not a ground pounder like my brother. I feel like you're speaking a different language. My brother works as a pickle pusher on the ground now, I found not understanding. Parking attendant on the flight line. One of those gomers who waves those flashlight wands around. Rami demonstrated with goofy hand gestures. I didn't really have to follow everything he was saying. He was so cute, that square jaw framing his perfect lips, muscles flexing in his uniform. I just wanted him to keep talking. What happened to your brother? Major disappointment. Turning away from me, he moved forward in line. I guess that's all he wanted to say about that. I stepped up to join him. How many people in your family are pilots? None. I'll be the first one. His smile was sure. I found myself matching it. I liked how convinced he sounded. He stood up tall again, shoulders back. Have you always wanted to be a pilot? Since I was 5, the first time I looked up and saw a strike eagle bust across the sky so fast it shook me up. He pointed to a plane parked closer to the runway. The gray jet had 2 engines. The gray jet with the 2 engines looked like the shape of an arrowhead, ready to slice up the sky. Must be nice to know what you want to do. Rami caught sight of a huge biplane and flipped out, not even trying to hide his kid-like excitement. A steerman, he darted away, completely lost in it. I called after him, bye. Still watching Rami, I made it to the front of the line. That's our time. I'm just going to finish this paragraph. I made it to the front of the line. It wouldn't be fair to stick Nika with babysitting too long. She had been there enough for me in the past year. I felt sorry for her, what she went through always being my support since the very night Dad died suddenly, the night the world changed forever. From behind the table, the volunteer with smeared thick glasses handed me a souvenir snap-on pen of plastic rings and gestured for me to put it on my collar. You'll be going in Claire Cabello's Cessna 150. He pointed to the plane at the gas pump. I felt my eyes go wide. That was the one Rami had told me to stay away from.
Oh my goodness, I want to find out what's going to happen with Romney and Jill. And you know what I really loved, Miss Blue? I love that march to the beat of your own drum. That came all the way from Taos, New Mexico, it did. But you know, I can see why middle school kids would really like this. Sometimes when we're faced with sadness in our lives, we've got to pick ourselves up and carry on. And even right now, Miss Blue, right now when everyone is stuck at home, this book is so valuable for our youngins, and not just our youngins. I bet someone younger or even older would really enjoy it. I want to finish it. I can hardly wait to open it up again, and there goes something down on the floor, but we're going to enjoy that. So tell me, how do we get this book? And did you write any other books?
Yes, well, they're both at Amazon, and FlyGirl's on sale right now. And then Circle is my second book, and you can see a video about that on my website. It's just a minute long with the students at different schools talking about how they reacted to it.
That sounds so nifty jiffy. And you know what? I know for a fact that Big Bear Middle School here in Big Bear, I like the way you talked about Big Bear. I pictured the lake and the airport and all the air shows we have. But anyway, I know that they read both of those books every single solitary year. So that must mean they're pretty darn good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got something we can read this week. Don't you feel a little more relaxed now that we just all stopped? We went inside our imaginations and tried to picture Jill's life and her perspective and everything. And here's something interesting. Before I go, Miss Blue, I want to thank you, but I think it'd be kind of cool if you came back and read a little bit about Circle one of these days.
Oh, thank you. That would be wonderful. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome to have story in our life.
I agree with you, especially now. Now, here's something very interesting. Before I take off, I'm not going to zoom away because this airplane's not going to go very far with Barbie in it. She's hogging the cockpit. But anyway, next week, our author is Yvonne Phillips. And there's kind of a tie-in here I find very interesting. The fact is, she is finishing up her 7th novel. And guess what, y'all? It is based on true facts in the San Bernardino Mountains. That's where we are right now, in them there mountains. And did y'all know that for the past 25 years, 3 boys have gone missing? I know that's very sad, but do you know what she did? She came up with a fictional story about what happened to them. So you better come back next week and you better listen to her too, and we'll see Miss Syd Blue again. Now, as we're ending, I just want y'all to think about something good. What in the world could we do that will be good for this next coming week? What, Barbie? Ken has something to say? Ken, what do you have to say? Huh? Oh, this is such a good idea. Listen to this, y'all. Now, I'm sure many of you out there in Big Bear Connected Land know that we're doing that 7 p.m. thingy where you go out and you hit those pots and pans. You sing, I personally sing, I'm calling you, but you make a joyful noise. Well, guess what? Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much for mentioning this. Well, guess what Big Bear Connected's going to do? We're going to have a parade around Big Bear Lake, and it's going to be thanking all those first responders and all those essential workers that are out there. Now, Ken, when you get out there on the lake, who are you thanking? Thank you, first responders. Barbie, did you do that one? That's a very pretty sign. I really, really like that. Now, as you know, the Make a Joyful Noise is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sundays. So basically, you can do that every day of the week. But, wrong side here. you can join us on May 17th for a parade at 3 p.m. And Big Bear Connected, you can find that on YouTube or you can find it on Facebook. Did you know that, Miss Blue? You can find it there.
So it's going to be a parade in cars?
It's going to be a parade in cars. That's right. Now you need to go on, bring your mask in case you stop and talk to somebody 6 feet away. But what we're doing is we're trying to honor all those people who are out there right now while we're inside our homes all cozy and maybe sometimes bored. But you know what? They're doing good right now. So let's do good for them and let's go out and support them and drive around the lake together on March 17th at 3 p.m. Now, Barbie, what did you write down on yours? Thanks, essential workers. We have so many of those in Big Bear, and you know, I'm sure you know some of them. And oh, before I forget. Oh, this is a heavy one. But you know, if you got a van, fill it up with your family only. But what does this one say? Oh, thank you, Bear Valley Unified School District. All of y'all folks out there that are serving food every single solitary week for our kiddos and parents. You know what? We just thank you out there. I hope to see all y'all at this parade. Miss Blue, thank you one more time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and so now I'm going to leave you, but I just want you to please try and stay healthy, try and stay safe, and above all, try and be happy. Toodaloo!
Sounds good. Thank you.